Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. In this video, I have some breaking news that has just dropped, and it's not looking good for millions of Americans. Now, after a meeting with Elon Musk on Capitol Hill, Republican senators are gearing up for massive cuts to entitlement programs and other government services. The writing's on the wall. Medicare and Social Security, the very benefits that people have been relying on for decades, are now on the chopping block. Now, this is a stunning reversal considering that just a short while ago, Republicans were assuring people that they wouldn't touch these entitlement programs. But now it seems like they're singing a different tone. And if that's not enough, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, has confirmed that he's willing to cut funding for Planned Parenthood and other essential services. Now, this is a double whammy for Americans who are not only facing the prospect of reduced benefits, but also a rollback of reproductive rights and access to healthcare. It's a clear indication that the Republican Party is more interested in pushing its ideological agenda than in serving the needs of its constituents. Now, in this video, we'll be taking a deeper look into that and what people have to say about this. So with that said, let's take a look at these videos. I will be right back.
We have some major breaking news right now. After meeting with Elon Musk on Capitol Hill, Republican senators are gearing up for massive cuts to entitlement programs and other government programs soon. And their overall takeaway is that it might be time to cut Medicare and Social Security. Folks, remember for the longest time they told us, well, hey, we're not going to touch your entitlement programs, your benefits. Well, now they want to. And not just that, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, has confirmed that if he had the opportunity, he would cut PBS and Planned Parenthood funding for all of that. So not only do they want to go after your entitlements, your Social Security, your Medicare, but they also want to go after reproductive rights and access. And a lot of people compare Planned Parenthood to just folks. It actually provides a number of critical services for women, including cancer screenings and other types of tests for women across the country. But what not enough people are talking about is that actually Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, as part of DOGE, aren't actually part of the federal government. They're just this outside advisory group. But if Republican senators don't listen to them, they're likely going to face Donald Trump's fury. Not enough people are talking about what's happening right now on Capitol Hill. In any event, comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
I'm 54 years old. I worked in healthcare for about 20 years, and it totally ruined my back. I have arthritis too, which is not my fault, but I worked my ass off. And then I was a courier, and I got in a car accident and it effed up my neck. And then after that, I worked in a machine shop after I went to school, went to college. And I worked out there too. There was tons of overtime. Always needed to work overtime over there. And that hurt my shoulders even more. And I've been waiting for Social Security because I haven't been able to work part-time or full-time since 2020.
Hi TikTok, as always, go back and watch the video that I am stitching. But this message is for Trump supporters or Trump voters or MAGA, whatever you want to call yourselves. So are you guys making room for those individuals in your family that are on Social Security and rely on benefits? I hope so, because they're going to need a place to stay.
Can we collectively, and I mean collectively, thank the boomers and the silent generation and whoever else that's already in retirement age? Can we thank them collectively for what they've done? Because those were Trump's key supporters. So they voted to harm themselves more than anyone else. This is so iconic and ironic. It's beyond laughable. He is hurting his core demographic. These are the same people who laughed when this man said, just vote for me this one time, you won't ever have to vote again. And they still supporting him. These are the same people who were yelling, deport the workforce, deport the mass manual labor workforce. When I say you can't make it up, you can't make this up. You can't make it up. A majority of hospice is paid through Medicaid and Medicare. One of the first things they do when they get a new patient is put them on Medicaid and Medicare. That's the very first thing they do. I used to work in a hospice. When I say this, it's like I'm living in a twilight zone right now, and it's so disheartening to know that all of these people voted for self-interest, not knowing that they were voting for self-destruction. All I can do is laugh. All I can do is laugh. So Elon's hardship comment didn't deter y'all from that. Oh, he just playing. At what point did you think that what if he was not playing? At what point did you think that? Like I said, at this point, it's comical. It's sad, but it's comical.
First of all, I need to stop calling them entitlement programs. Now, personally, I don't pay into Social Security because I'm a teacher. I pay into a different fund. But for everybody that pays into Social Security, you are entitled to that money. Do you want to use a different word instead of entitled? Because it's not an entitlement program. That money is supposed to be there for you because you put money in there. You worked. It comes out of your paycheck. It's meant to be a pension for you. Same with Medicare. It's supposed to be an insurance plan for you when you turn a certain age. I do pay into Medicare. I also pay into another medical thing via my teacher pension. It's not an entitlement. They need to stop messing around with this. And also, Musk and whoever this other guy is, they're not even federal elected officials. So these guys met with senators yesterday or today and basically said this needs to be cut in the federal budget. And the senator said, sure, we'll figure it out. What? You're going to listen to two billionaires instead of your constituents? I can guarantee you, if you spoke to your constituents, it's not what they want. And in fact, everybody on here needs to start calling your representatives right now and letting them know you do not want this. They also want to cut Planned Parenthood. Now, Planned Parenthood are a small portion of what they do. They do cancer screening. They do mammograms. They do contraception. Are not the end-all be-all for Planned Parenthood. And it's a place where a lot of low socioeconomic women go to get their reproductive health. So call your representatives now. Call them now. Not state, federal. This is not okay. You have been paying into those programs all your life. Gen Z, you're old enough to have paid into it. Millennials, you're definitely old enough. Gen Z or Gen X, I mean, some of us are old enough that we're close to retirement. We're getting there. Boomers may be the only ones that are going to be left actually getting to use it. I don't know. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, your community.
Now, just weeks after booing the president for rightly pointing out that they plan to cut Social Security, House Republicans have a new plan to cut Social Security. The Republican Study Committee, which represents nearly 80% of House Republicans and 100% of House Republican leadership, has released a 2025 budget that would make Republican plans to gut Social Security a reality. By forcing Americans to work longer for less, their budget would cut Social Security benefits for 257 million people, or 3 in 4 Americans. Now, breaking Social Security's sacred promise is just the beginning. This extreme budget ends Medicare as we know it, attacks the Affordable Care Act, and slashes food assistance for children while lavishing the ultra-rich with massive new tax cuts. Now, the Republican Study Committee has a long history of proposing cuts to Social Security, according to Roll Call. Clean said the group has proposed gradually raising the Social Security retirement age, but not for current retirees or those nearing retirement. He said those now age 59 would see an increase in the retirement age of 3 months per year, beginning in 2026. The retirement age would reach 69 for those who turn 62 in 2033. Now, this means every American 59 or younger will see their retirement age increased, forcing 257 million people to work longer for less. Now, this budget is only the latest attempt in Republicans' decades-long effort to attack Social Security, and House Democrats will continue fighting to protect Americans' hard-earned benefits. Now, instead of saving Social Security and Medicare by making billionaires pay their fair share, House Republicans would rather break the sacred promise that every American should be able to retire with dignity. Now, this Republican budget is an attack on seniors, veterans, and the middle class. Now, it's really hard to find many things that 80% of Americans agree on, but they exist. In various polls taken earlier this year, 4 out of 5 Americans said Joe Biden was too old to run for a second term, the government is doing a bad job dealing with migrants at the Mexican border, and the cost of prescription drugs is unreasonable. Oh, and here's one more area where 80% of Americans concur. Social Security benefits shouldn't be cut. Now, on those other issues, politicians are pretty responsive. Biden didn't run for a second term in the end. After all, and both Democratic and Republican lawmakers will at least pay lip service to the idea that something should be done about the border and prescription drug prices. But despite its unpopularity, Republicans somehow keep coming back to the idea of cutting Social Security. Now, in an interview with Fox Business on Tuesday, Rep. Rich McCormick suggested it was time to make some hard decisions. To trim the federal budget, we've got to bring the Democrats in and talk about Social Security. Medicaid, Medicare, said McCormick, who represents the wealthiest congressional district in Georgia. There's hundreds of billions of dollars to be saved, and we know how to do it. We just have to have the stomach to actually take those challenges on. Now, in the other chamber, Republican Sen. Mike Lee posted a long thread on the social media platform X about the constitutionality and practicality of Social Security, evoking the classic conservative trope of comparing it to a Ponzi scheme that's running out of new investors. We need real, genuine reform, he wrote, within the Social Security system. Americans should be able to invest in their own future and not be shackled by the worst parts of this outdated, mismanaged system. Now, Lee's thread was then amplified by ex-owner Elon Musk, the world's richest person who has been tasked with running a government efficiency commission for President-elect Donald Trump and has repeatedly hinted that effort might include changes to entitlement programs. Now, in a speech at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally during the campaign, Musk said he wanted to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget, which would amount to about 30% of spending. Now, since Social Security is the largest single program in the budget, that would seem to indicate it might be a target, especially since Musk also said that everyone's going to have to take a haircut under his plans. So would Trump try to cut Social Security? It's really hard to say. Over the years, he has staked out every possible position on Social Security, sometimes within hours of each other. Now, in a 2000 book, he too used the line about Social Security being a huge Ponzi scheme, called for raising the retirement age to 70, and proposed privatizing the program. Now, he repeated the latter view in a 2004 appearance on MSNBC, where he called Social Security's solvency a huge problem right now. But when Trump reigned in the Republican presidential primary in 2016, he cast himself as the program's protector, saying, "I'm not going to cut Social Security like every other Republican." As president, he continued to insist that he would not touch Social Security benefits, even as it took actions that indicated he might. Now, once he claimed on Twitter that his fiscal 2021 budget would not do that just hours before it was released, showing that it did in fact include proposed cuts to Social Security, disability insurance, and supplemental security income benefits. Or when he told CNBC that maybe he would cut entitlement programs and then tried to walk it back the next day. So if Republicans or Musk decide to propose changes to Social Security benefits, it's possible that he might go along with it. Now, the question is, what happens next? If history is any guide, any effort would run right into a brick wall of opposition. President George W. Bush, after all, proposed privatizing Social Security after he won a second term in 2004. In a press conference shortly after that victory, Bush declared that he had earned political capital in the election and intended to spend it. Now, he made it the centerpiece of his State of the Union address and bandstormed the country. And the more he talked, the less popular the idea became. Within a few months, the plan got unalived quietly in Congress. In the 2006 midterms, Democrats flipped both houses of Congress without a single incumbent losing. Now, Trump wouldn't start with Bush's level of single-minded focus on the issue, either, as he will be too busy promoting his other plans to deport millions who are in the country illegally, restructure the federal government by fate, and levy tariffs right and left. With narrow majorities in the House and Senate, just a handful of Republicans could tank any proposal, and Social Security has one of the strongest lobbying and grassroots advocacy efforts in Washington. But while Trump may not end up cutting Social Security directly, his other plans may lead to cuts in the end. But what do you, my viewers, have to say about this? Share your thoughts, your views as well, and what you think about this in the comment section, and let's have a conversation. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video as we bring you another interesting video.